So students, now let's start activity 4.1 complex numbers. So our objective for this activity is to interpret geometrically the meaning of iota equals to under root -1 and its integral powers. So students, now let's see the method of construction for the given activity. Step 1. Take a drawing board. And fix a graph paper on it. Draw two mutually perpendicular lines . X dash OX and YY dash intersecting at point O. Third, take a thread of unit length representing one along OX. Now fix one end of the thread to the nail at point O. And the other end of the thread at A. Now step 4. Set free the other end of the thread at point A. That is, we have tied the thread at point O to the point A of unit length 1, and now we are setting free the other end that is at point A and rotate the thread through different angles that is 90 degree, 180 degree, 270 degree and 360 degree, and mark the free end of the thread, in different cases. As A1, A2, A3 and A4 respectively. That is, we rotate the thread from point A to 90 degree. At 90 degree, we mention this point of free end of the thread as A1. Then at 180 degree, that is when the thread is moved to 180 degree, then this point as A2. Then at 270 degree as A3. Then we move to point 360 degree as A4. So when we move at 180 degree here, the unit length along x-axis is -1. So this is the negative x-axis. So it is -1. So in the given figure, that is, we have OA equals to 1, OA1 equals to I iota, OA2 equals to -1, OA3 equals to minus iota, and OA4 equals to 1. Second, that is OA is equal to 1 unit length, OA1 is equal to iota, OA2 is -1 and OA3 is minus iota, minus I. So OA1 equals to I equals to 1 into iota. OA2 equals to -1 equals to iota into iota, that is iota square. OA3 equals to minus iota equals to iota into iota into iota. You can say iota cube or I cube. Hence, each time OA has been located by 90 degree, and this step is equal to multiplication by I or iota. OA1 is I, that can be written as 1 into I. OA2 is -1, so it is I into iota equals to iota square. A3 is iota into iota into iota, that is I cube or iota cube, that is minus iota. That is, we can see every time the thread moves to 90 degree, then iota is being added at every multiple of 90 degree, iota, then iota square, then iota cube, and similarly this goes on to every multiple of 90 degree. So our observation for this activity is, on rotating OA through 90 degree, it meets or coincides OA1. On rotating OA through 90 degree, it coincides OA1, that is 1 into I. As at every 90 degree, 1 I is being added, so 1 into I. So at every 90 degree, multiple of I is being added, so it becomes 1 into I. As OA is 1, so 1 into I, it becomes I. Second, on rotating OA through an angle of 180 degree, that is 2 right angles, it coincides OA2, which is equal to 1 into iota into iota. As 2 right angles, we move through 2 right angles, so 2 multiples of I, so I into I becomes iota square or I square. Third, on rotating OA through 270 degree, that is 3 right angles, it coincides at OA3, which is equal to 1 into iota. So as there are 3 right angles, so 3 multiples of iota becomes I cube, which is equal to minus 1. As iota square is minus 1, so we can write this as minus 1 into iota equals to I, which becomes equals to minus iota or minus I. So, on rotating OA through 360 degree, that is 4 right angles, it coincides with OA4, which becomes equal to 1 into 4 times iota or I I4, which can also be written as iota square into iota square or I square into I square, which becomes equal to minus 1 into minus 1 equals to 1. Step 5. On rotating OA through n right angles of OAN, which becomes equal to 1 into I into I into I into I up to n times, which becomes equal to I to the power n. In general, our conclusion for this activity is, for any integer n, I to the power 4n equals to 1, I to the power 4n plus 1 equals iota or I, then I to the power 4n plus 2 is equal to minus 1, and I to the power 4n plus 3 equals to minus I, and so on. We can find different multiples for each 90-degree increment in the angle.